Hi everyone, this is Whitney from Whitney and Tiffany Photography. I know you get an edit from me. It's kind of rare. Usually it's Tiffany doing the edits and I'm more behind the scenes. Well, that's because Tiffany just has this remarkable way of looking at color and beauty, and I have the knowledge of lighting and the Photoshop. So together we make this perfect pair for you guys. I mean, I really don't know anyone else out there that has the knowledge that we do between the two of us. It's like Beauty and the Geek, me being the geek, of course. So anyway, but I am going to do an eye edit for you today using our new eye collection. I've decided to do this just because there's a few little tips and tricks in Photoshop that I want to show you that maybe will help you with doing eyes in the future. And I'm going to edit this image here. This is the final edit. We're going to go back to where I did the eyes, and then we're going to do the eyes again. So if you look, I have 3 folders here. If any of you have the Ultimate Workflow Action, these 3 folders are going to look very familiar because I created the Ultimate Workflow Action, and this is how I work. I always do final touches, and inside there's a bunch of folder and color toning, and then the retouch. So let's just turn off these folders. There's my final touches, there's my color toning, and in retouch the top one is eyes. You can see just what a difference eyes made on her, just that alone. I mean, just really pops the image. Okay, so in the eye collection I created, let me pull up the folder for you. We have actions, brushes, and contacts. So there's actions that I have installed, there's brushes I have installed, and then there's contacts that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So let's run that's my history. Let's run the eye actions. I'm going to go down to, where are they? There they are. Okay, I have so many actions. But I really just love the ones that I'm creating for you. Okay, so let's run the eye actions down here. Okay, so we have captivating eyes, highlight glow, eyeshadow, eyeliner, eyelashes, and run them all. So let's just hit run them all and I'll go through them with you. Oh, it's going to pop it out of that folder, but that's okay. We'll fix it. Okay, so now I get a pop-up box, and the pop-up box is saying double click on the pink box, this here, the color fill layer, and choose your eyeshadow color in the color picker. And once you found your perfect color, click OK. Then using a eyeshadow brush or a soft white round brush, apply the eyeshadow to your subject. Press continue. Okay, so this is just part of the action. So these are gonna pop up when we hit run them all. There are going to be 3 of them. Here's the other one. This is basically saying the same thing for eyeliner, and then it's going to tell you how to apply the eyeliner. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. And then this is same for the eyelashes. All right, so okay, so let's open retouch back up. And here's my original eye folder that's not visible, and the one I just ran. Okay, so you can see inside there's 2 folders, 2 groups, makeup and captivating eyes. Let's start with captivating eyes. Those of you that have the Ultimate Workflow Action, this is pretty much the same exact action that is in the Ultimate Workflow Action. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. I thought I had this locked, so it doesn't do this. Okay, let's go back into our retouch folder. Now you can see there's 2 folders labeled eyes. This is my original one when I did this edit, and this is the one that I just ran. So if we open that up, we see we have 2 groups, makeup and captivating eyes. Let's open captivating eyes. For those of you that have the Ultimate Workflow Action, the captivating eyes action is the same pretty much as the eye action in the Ultimate Workflow Action. So you can use this, and the makeup is pretty easy to do on your own. So if you do have the Ultimate Workflow Action, buying this eye collection isn't necessary unless you want the brushes, um, the extra little actions here, and the contacts, which we'll show you later. Okay, so let's start at the beginning here. That means starting at the bottom. So we always work bottom up on layers. Okay, so we have first one we have is brighten eye and socket. Okay, so let's zoom into her eyes. So now it looks like I already did some brightening and dodging and burning on her face, so I don't need to brighten it up too much. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select a brush, a soft round white brush. So my hardness is at 0. I'm on black actually, so I'm going to hit X, and that's going to toggle my brush. I don't know what. Oh, never mind, I have a dialog box open over on the other window. Okay, now I'm going to hit X. And that's going to toggle my color to white. Okay, so I want to go all the way around your eye. So I don't think I need to brighten this one up because it's pretty bright already, but I'm just going to pop it on that one. So you can see that quick pop, on, off, on, whatever. And just brighten her eye up. And you can go in. What I'm going to do on this eye, though, is I'm going to go into the iris and just sort of pop it on there. Okay, that's good. Perfect. So on, off, on. Okay, next one is kicker light. If I expand it out, it says the kicker light is the lower iris opposite the key light. So I did have a kicker light when I took her image here, and you can see this is actually the kicker light here. Now she has her head tilted, so the kicker light went to the side of her eye, but usually the kicker light is opposite your main light, so it would be about here. This should probably be more up here, and your kicker light here. I'm going to still put a kicker light in her eye because I like to lighten up the bottom of her eye. I'm just going to kind of expand it out a little bit. So I'm going to select the black mask, and I'm going to select one of our brushes. Go to our brushes. We have WTF eyes. I have some eyelash brushes for you. There's top eyelash brushes, bottom eyelash brushes, eyelash parts. We have catch lights. Here's the kicker light I'm talking about. We have eyeliner and we have eyeshadow. So select that kicker light brush, and let's select the black mask of the kicker light layer. Okay, so now you can see that it's not quite tilted great. So let's go into our brush settings, and you can see here at the bottom of the brush settings we have flip X, flip Y, and we have this circle thing. Okay, so now if you hit the brackets, the square brackets up and down, you can see we increase and decrease the size of it. Flip X flips it horizontally, flip Y vertically. Okay, but we don't need to do that. We're just going to change the angle of it using this circle. So that's a little too much. My brush is also a little bit too big. That looks about good. All right, so now I have my kicker light brush, and I am at 100% opacity, 100% flow, and it's white here. And so let's click on that white mask, and let's angle it just a little bit more, and I'm just going to expand that out on both sides just to lighten up her iris a little bit and give like a kicker light effect. Okay, that looks good. The kicker light is at 34%. I brought it down before, but we can, if I make it up to 100%, you can see what it actually does. But I liked it at 34%. Okay, iris contrast. I'm going to put it up to 100% so you can see what's going. And I'm going to go back to just a round brush, soft round white brush. And I'm going to do it at 100% so you can see what it's going to do. So I'm at 100% opacity, 100% flow, 100% on my layer as well. And what that just does is it's just increasing the contrast of the iris. Okay, I'm going to bring the opacity down just a touch. I love it, but it's a little too much. 60, let's just do 50%. I like nice round numbers. Okay. Now, eye whiten. Okay, what eye whiten does is it takes the blue and the yellow and just gives it a touch of brightness, but not a lot. Her eyes are pretty white. I don't see a lot of blue or yellow in it, so it's probably not going to do much, but it might brighten it just a touch. Yeah. If you want it brightened even more, you can use the Brighten eye whites. Again, I don't think she needs it. I think her eye whites are pretty bright, so I'm going to skip this one. All right, Boost Eye Color. Again, I'm going to bring that up to 100% so you can see what happens. Whoa. That's like really almost taking her to an artificial looking color. I'm going to hit X to toggle to a black brush just so I can take that magenta that it pulled out of her skin there off. All right, and I'm going to bring the opacity down. Again, 50% looks good. Okay, adjust eye color. Now here's where the magic comes in. I'm going to bring this up to 100% so you can see what's happening. Again, I'm at 100% flow and opacity. And oh, I'm on a black. So I'm going to toggle it to white by hitting X. Look at that, that's crazy. Ooh, it's like neon eyes. Okay, so now what you do is you want to go to your properties. And oh, I already did that. I did this edit before I started recording so I could practice. Some of my settings are already there. So I brought the blue up to, let's make it 50, make that a nice number, right? And I made her eyes a little bluer. So if I pop that on and off, that is crazy bright. So let's bring it down. I'm going to try 25%. Yeah, and that just kind of pops a little bit blue in there. All right, now let's go to Darken Limbal Ring. What that does is the limbal ring is this black line around a person's iris. My daughter has a pretty dark limbal ring, so I don't need to use this. Tiffany said she likes to do it because her daughter doesn't have a dark limbal ring. But if I did need to do it, I'd take a white soft round brush, tiny one, and I would just circle around the outside of her eye. Maybe I'll darken it right there. All right, and then sharpen eye. Again, I like to do this at 100%, and then I bring my opacity down. It looks like I already sharpened it in the raw, so I don't think she needs a lot of sharpening. That just looks way too crunchy. So let's bring the opacity way down. All right. I think this part is all pretty self-explanatory, the captivating eyes. But the tricks and tips I really want to show you are in the makeup. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is highlight glow. What highlight glow is for is if you look closely at someone's face, you'll see like a sparkly glow. You can see she has some under her eye here. She has some on her her eyelid, and up here on this eyelid. She also has some on her lips and her upper lip. So this highlight glow is to make those areas pop. All right, I am on 100% opacity, 100% flow. And it's very subtle. You can even use it on areas of her lip, but we're just gonna make that pop a little bit. What I also did was I created a brush for you. Where is it? Here it is, this one. This is to go, let's go to the brush properties so I can size it, on the inside corner of the eye. Hitting the brackets to make it larger. It doesn't have to fit perfectly because we're going to bring the opacity down pretty small. This is actually Tiffany's daughter. Okay, and I'm going to flip it, flip X, and then I'm going to angle it to fit her eye. All right, and now I'm just going to select that white brush before I go away. And now turning it off and on, you can see it just kind of pops those highlights of the eyes. It's really pretty. Okay, so now we have 4 layers left. We have eyeshadow, eyeliner, top eyelashes, and bottom eyelashes. Okay. top eyelash is up here. It'll be up here on yours. I think I don't know why that didn't work. I'll fix it if it's not right. Okay, so the eyeshadow, I have this kind of crazy pink chosen here, and that's not what I want. I'm going to go with something more in the purpley tone. So I'm going to double click on the pink, and my color picker is going to pop up. It came up on a different screen. And I'm going to go into like a deep gray there, purple, almost matching her dress. And I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to click on the black mask, and I'm going to go into my brushes, and I'm going to choose a eyeshadow brush. For little kids, I kind of like this one because it's more dispersed out. Let's go into brush settings because we are going to need to angle it. I don't want it too crazy. Let's see, what am I on more? I'm 100% on all of this, so let's see. Okay, and you can even tap it again. Okay, now I'm going to flip it and do the other eye. We're going to, of course, change the opacity. Okay, now you can see it's kind of like modelly, and I like that because when I reduce the opacity, it will look more natural. What you can also do is you can go in, while your mask is selected, you can go into properties and you can feather the mask. And what that does is, actually, let's bring up, I'm going to bring it back down so you can see it when it's happening. I'm going to bring up the opacity to 100% so you can see what happens when I feather the mask. It actually just blurs your mask. So that works really well for eyeshadow, because eyeshadow usually isn't a straight line. And it even lightens it up a little bit, so I don't have to bring the opacity down as much. But there, that's pretty. So the reason why I use color fill layers and not just using the color on the brush on a blank layer is because I like to change my colors and I like to change them often. And this here is no exception. I'm looking at her eyes now, and I chose that purpley color. I kind of feel like it's just making her eyes look bruised and not pretty. So now, but how easy is it? I just double click it, my color picker pops up, and I can pick another color. And I think I'm going to go something closer to her lipstick. I mean, that's a little obnoxious. I don't think so. But look at, you can just click around until you find something. I actually want to go, I think, a little deeper. Yeah, there we go. I think that's really pretty. I'll just bring the opacity down a little bit. I mean, beautiful. So this is why I love color fill layers. Okay, same thing with the eyeliner. I use color fill layers for that reason as well. Now, she's 7. She may even have been 6 in this picture. I don't know. So eyeliner isn't really something I'm going to usually do for her, but I'm going to do it so I can show you. Okay, so you want to click on the black mask, and you want a white brush. I'm going to choose this eyeliner here because it's like a little fine one. It'll just maybe pop her eye. And we can reduce the opacity if it's too much. Okay, I'm going to angle it. It's a little big. And pop. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I think I did it a little high, so let's try it again. I just hit Control Z, and that was undo. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, awesome. And I'm going to flip it and do this eye. And pop. Okay, awesome. That looks great. Okay, so now you can, I have the opacity defaulted at 75% because eyeliner isn't, like if it was 100%, it would look pretty fake because eyeliner isn't always that dark. Sometimes you can get it that dark, but especially on kids. I think I'm even going to bring it down less on her just to make it more of like a definition than an actual eyeliner makeup. So what do I have, 39%? I think that looks fine. Okay, so now bottom lashes. Now, there are 2 ways you can do bottom lashes. You can do it this way with a color fill layer and a white brush, so you can select your bottom lashes, use a white brush and just pop them on, or you can just do a layer with a black brush. So here, let me make it smaller. So there's a just a layer with this brush in black, or I can use a white brush, right? It's the same exact thing. Now there are benefits to each of them. Usually I do a layer with a brownish brush, but not always actually, and let me tell you why. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this layer. Well, no, I'm just going to keep it. So I know what I'll do. I'll do one bottom lash, if I can spell bottom lash, left. I'm going to do the left one as this type of layer, and I'm going to do the right one as this type of layer. Okay, so now I selected my brush. I'm going to be on white, and I want to select my mask. Okay, let's go into brush settings and set it. These are her actual eyelashes, but I don't know how they got so flattened out. Okay, so you can see, like, if I go use my brackets and I'm here, it's too small, but if I hit my bracket, it's too big. That's because it's in between 400 to 300. It jumps 100 pixels. So let's try 350 and maybe that will work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop that on. And I think the opacity needs to be reduced because that's just too obvious. I just kind of want to highlight those eyelashes. I don't really want to make her look like she has mascara on. Okay, so I'm going to do a different lash to show you why a layer is beneficial over a color fill layer. The thing I like about the color fill layer is since I use black, I shouldn't always use black. Sometimes she's a dark brown, so a dark brown would look better than a black. So yeah, I think that color is pretty, and I can even increase the opacity. And I see how I easily change that color. But now on just a layer, I don't know if that color is a good color or not. So I have to guess, or I have to just use black. So I'm just gonna use, let's see, what was that color? Right about there. And I'm gonna use like I said, I'm gonna use a different brush so I can show you. Oh, actually, these are her eyelashes. Oh, I don't remember. One of these sets are her actual eyelashes. Okay, but I'm gonna show you the advantage over using a layer. Okay, again, I think she's 350. Okay, I'm gonna just sorry, I'm a perfectionist. I know what I'm gonna do right there. Pop. Okay, so you can see that her eyelash came down a little bit. I'm gonna go to a white brush so you can see. Her eyelash came down a little bit here. So what the awesome benefit about using a layer is now I can go into filter, liquify. Oh, brought it up on my other screen. Okay. And I can turn on show backdrop. And I can liquify this into place. Now you can do this with your mask as well, but it isn't quite as easy. All right. Other thing you can do is you can say edit, transform, warp, and you can warp that eyelash into the shape you need it to be in. Right? Perfect. Okay, and the same thing goes with the top eyelashes. Pick your top eyelash. Let's see. Again, these are violets here. I'm going to just use a white. I'm going to use the color fill layer. Now I want to show you the big disadvantage of using a color fill layer. Okay, I think she needs to maybe be a 420. And I'm going to pop it up. Yep, there we go. Okay, now you can either flip it or you can just select the other eye. I gave you the other eye, but I usually just flip it. I think it's easier. All right, so now the not benefit of using a mask is that I can't move the mask around without moving both eyes. So unless I do 2 layers for each eye, and same with this, 2 layers for each eye. But I can still go in and liquefy the mask. But it's going to look like this. It's going to be black because I'm actually liquefying a mask. I don't really need to liquefy this. Maybe I can bring this side down a little bit to make it fit. And same with now with warping, because they're both on here, warping's going to be a little more difficult too. But the beautiful thing about the color fill layer is I can make her change her color really easily, because eyelashes aren't black. I mean, unless you have mascara on them, but she's a kid, so I am not going to do that. Okay, so that's it for makeup. Let's zoom in, and I just want to show you. So this is before and after. Before and after. Okay, so let's play with some contacts. I'm going to just create a blank layer, and I'm going to go to my folder, eye collection, and contacts. You can see we have a bunch of colors in here that I made, even a fun rainbow one if you ever want to try that out. I haven't even tried it out yet, but I think it would be fun. I'm going to do this one. I think it's kind of cool, the blue-brown. I'm just going to drag it up and over. And it's huge, so there's a lot of detail in it. So what you want to do is you want to size it. I'm holding shift to keep its aspect ratio. And usually what I do is I place one and I get it sized, and then I copy it for the other eye. It's just easier to do that, because you know your eyes are going to be about the same size. My computer is being slow. I think it is contacts slowing it down. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Command J, and I'm going to copy it. So now there's 2 here, and I'm going to pull that one over. Okay, so let's start with this eye. I'm going to throw a mask on it. I am going to have to select, I think I'm an eyelash brush, so I'm going to select a soft round white brush. Actually, let's use a black brush, and I'm going to mask off the top of the eye. So now also what I would do is I would pull this eye underneath your makeup, right? Because you want the eyelashes to be on top. See how much more natural that just looked? So let's do that. We should have done it under the makeup. And let's go to this one. Just take the top off there. I think that needs to be moved over a little bit. Alright, now I know that looks freaky as heck because they're not realistic. So let's change the blending mode and see if that helps. I'm going to go to soft light. It makes it a little dark. So let's just see. Lighten, screen, color dodge. I don't know. I might like normal actually. Just going through these. Color was alright, but that's her eye. So let's just keep normal. I'm going to show you some tricks because this is a good opportunity for me to show you some tricks. Okay, let's just reduce the opacity so it looks a little more natural on her eye. Yeah, ooh, that looks good. Okay, 64%. Okay, but one thing this contact is doing is it's covering up her catch lights, and there are no catch lights in the contacts. So we need to bring her catch lights in. And this is one of the tricks that I really want to show you that I also need to teach Tiffany. So I'm going to make Tiffany watch this video too. So now if you right click on the contact layer and hit blending options, you're going to see your blending options. And at the bottom here, there's a box called blend if. And what that does is if you move this arrow right here to the right, I'm sorry, left, I know my right and left, you can see that it's taking the lighter color and it's bringing it forward into that layer. Okay, so the cool trick about that is you can't see it here because it's pretty, like that's a bright layer, and there you actually can here where it's starting to get like maybe speckly. So what we want to do is we want to hold down the option key and we want to split this arrow. So what it does, it makes it blend more naturally as you bring it over. So now you can see those speckles are going away. I'm actually going to bring it all the way over, and it brought my catch light in. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to do it on this eye before I change the opacity so you can see it more dramatically. Move that over so you can see it. Okay, now I'm going to hold down option. I'm going to split this arrow, and I'm going to bring my catch light in. Super cool. Okay, now what was that opacity at? 64, and I'm going to bring this one down to 64 as well. Okay, let's zoom out so we can see. Okay, one thing I notice is that left eye seems unusually bright. Because that eye is in shadow, I probably need to bring the opacity down a little bit more on that left eye just to make it look a little bit more natural, because it is more in shadow. Or I could, if I wanted to, put it back at 64%, I could make a curves layer, and I can clip it by holding down the option key in between the two layers, and that will clip it. And I can go to my properties, and I can just pull down the darkness a little bit to match the shadow in that eye. That'll actually be more realistic because it won't bring that other eye contaminated with her natural eye color. So let's go back to layers. I'm going to group this so we can see the difference. I know I didn't spell contacts right, but I don't care. Okay, so that's off and on. Oh, I even think like this looks way more natural. I love those contacts in this one. How beautiful was that? Okay, so tips and tricks. We liquefied our mask. We liquefied our eyelashes. I taught you blend if. I taught you ways you can change colors easily using a color fill layer. You can use brushes on your masks to make interesting shapes like eyeshadow, eyeliner, kick your lights. Geez, what else? I don't know. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will answer them on our board. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed this eye edit. Let's do a quick before and after. So that's before and that's after. Before, after. Thanks everyone.